So I'm here with Kevin, who was a guardsman. Yep.
Yeah.
And
If I'd like to interrupt you, I was a lance corporal on the ship during the Falklands War, Welsh guardsman. I'd like to introduce you to Katie Gibby. She lost her father on the ship. He was a guardsman on the ship as well, and she'd like to say a few words as well.
Sure. Okay, Katie, can I just give you the whole back? Just hold it to me. So who was your father then, Katie?
My father was Guardsman Mark Gibby.
Mark Gibby.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you know what happened to him?
I know where the mortars were. I don't think, obviously, the majority of the mortars were killed, unfortunately killed. So we don't really know what happened. I'm waiting and hoping that the board of inquiry will get released so that we can find out what happened.
Okay. And how old were you when your dad?
I was 5.5 months old.
Oh right. Okay.
Yeah, so I was young. He was a new father and a new husband. So at 22 years old, yeah.
And so he was 22 when he died, and he was in the Welsh Guards.
Welsh Guards, he's in the mortar platoons.
He was a mortar platoon Welsh Guards.
Yeah.
And so he was under deck.
Under deck.
If I'd like to explain, the mortar platoon were in the tank deck, in the hold of the ship at the rear, just above the engine room. And they would all sit in either side of the bulkheads, and all the Prince of Wales's company and 3 company were down there too. Those who were using the canteen at the time obviously weren't down there, but when we got bombed, the Bergens were being lifted out of the ship at the time.
Right.
Yeah, and I was this side of the Bergens, and the mortar platoon the other side of the Bergens.
Right.
Yeah, and that's also where Simon Weston was. Yeah, he was that side of the Bergens as well. Yeah. And as the ship got bombed, obviously we all took cover. I took cover this side of the Bergens, and the boys took cover on the other side of the Bergens. And as I stood up, all I seen was Simon Weston fully aflame.
Right.
And Katie knows about this, but as I looked behind Simon ran up the stairs. As I looked behind Simon, there was just chasm of fire, and the mortar platoon was gone, and that's where Katie lost her father.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. Very sad. Very sad.
Yeah.
And I had friends that were in school with me. I had friends who were my guard of honor at my wedding, my first wedding. And it's very sad, very sad. But we just want the truth now. We just want to find out the truth of what happened, and hopefully, with our campaign, we keep pushing to get this campaign and the Board of Inquiry open.
So tell us a bit more about the campaign then. What's the thrust of the campaign?
Well, it's to get the truth, because during the last 43 years, there's been a lot written about the Welsh Guards, and really bad things about our regiment. Blaming our commanders on the ship for what happened that day. But there was a lot of decisions made prior to that, and prior to us going around to Fitzroy that day on the ship with no air cover, and no air support. Like you said, the rapier wasn't working.
Right.
The rapier actually come off the ship that morning, but it takes about 10-12 hours to calibrate it, and it wasn't ready to defend us.
Right. Yeah.
So that's one of the problems there, but it's the command decisions that were made to get us there that we're looking into, and the Board of Inquiry is the only thing that will tell us the true stories.
Yes.
And that's what we're pushing.
And it's not a blame game. It's just we want to know what happened. Yes. That's all we want. Because many people have got questions that need answering, and then that I hope will help us move forward in our life. Because at the moment it feels like the only way I can explain it is we getting pulled underwater, and that Board of Inquiry can cut the rope that's dragging us down.
Right. Yes.
And it will allow us to become a bit more free with life, and certainly myself, it'll just help me move on. With my life as well.
The thing is with Katie also speaks for her mother.
Yes.
Her mother obviously was the wife of Guardsman Gibby.
Yeah.
And that's why she mainly turns up for herself and
Yeah.
and a mother.
Yes.
A mother can't face it.
Right.
You know,
Yes.
she at the time, obviously, she was very distraught. You know,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
I'd like to mention her mother as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
but if you look at the Board of Inquiry, I'd like to see this. I'll put it on the record anyway.
Yeah.
On the original Board of Inquiry, it was set up with the Royal Navy, the Marines sitting on the board. Yeah, and not one army personnel was on the board.
Right.
Yeah, not one. And they make the excuse that well, it was only a Board of Inquiry about a ship,
Right.
the loss of a ship.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which it wasn't. It wasn't. We know that by certain documentation we've already had released. You know? And they went on to watch senior members of the Navy and the Royal Marines write books about the Falklands War and the bombing of the Galahad.
Right.
And not every book, but majority of their books.
Yeah.
Those members of the Board of Inquiry sitting on that board
Yes.
watched those seniors write defamation about our regiment.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
For 43 years.
Yeah.
But they sat back and they were on the Board of Inquiry.
And they didn't do anything about it. Yeah. Yeah.
They allowed for the Welsh Guards officers to be blamed, and it took us having one part of the Board Inquiry completely and utterly exonerates the Welsh Guards.
That's
yet
good.
they've continued the blaming Welsh Guards, and even to this day, even though it's been read out in Parliament by Dr. Morrison, they still will not accept that they weren't to blame, and they were still blaming these gentlemen, and one of them have actually gone to his grave being blamed.
Right.
But he has been exonerated now, and it's just sad and a shame that it took this long.
Yes.
It should never have taken 43 years. I mean, I'm not military, but at the end of the day, no man should have to go to, his death being blamed for something that wasn't his fault.
But I was just about to say about the Board of Inquiry, and those sitting there on the Board of Inquiry knew they exonerated the Welsh Guards.
Right.
43 years ago.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what Dr. Morrison in Parliament said.
Yeah.
The Welsh Guards were exonerated in 1983
Right.
on the Board of Inquiry.
Yeah.
You know, yet they still allowed them, knowing what they said in that Board of Inquiry, to write books defaming the Welsh Guards.
Right. Yeah.
We just want to get to the bottom of it, basically. So
I don't know where to go.
where we going? Forest.
Forester.
We'll find it. Don't worry, we'll find it.
Yeah, I think I know where it is. The
Yeah.
forest,
Okay.
the bold foresters.
Oh,
Just before we, can you just tell us a bit about, because you would have known Katie's father.
Yeah, I didn't know him well. I knew him working in the battalion, but he was in a different company to me.
But this is to remember the fallen. Could you just say a few words about Katie's father and maybe yourself, Katie? I know you were very young, but
yeah, he was like I say, he's 22-year-old
and
new father.
his name again?
Mark Gibby, Guardsman Mark Gibby.
Guardsman. He was a private soldier.
He's a Welsh Guardsman.
Guardsman, of
Sorry,
course.
Welsh Guardsman Mark Gibby.
I'm giving para ranks
okay.
here, but yeah.
So he was 22, and he's a new husband, new father. Hadn't long had their house in Pirbright, and like I say, my father he's kind, he's caring, very quiet, but you wouldn't get on the wrong side of him. He stuck up, he's very loyal, and he loved animals and loved horses.
Right.
So I don't know whether one of the lines he might have gone down was to do with the household cavalry, I believe, working with the horses. But unfortunately, all I know of my father really is pictures.
Yes.
You know, when I think back of my father, I got to look at a picture.
Yeah.
When really, it's just a shame. I wish I just had one memory.
Yeah.
Because that I could look back on, and memories are really precious. And this is why I tell people, take lots of photos, because you never know when that photo will become a memory.
Yeah. And did you have any words about him from memories of him?
I haven't specific memories of working with him or anything like that, but I've listened to Katie through the last 2.5 years about her father and everything he's done in his life, and what type of person he was, and he seemed to be a wonderful young lad. And what I seen of him in the battalion, he always seemed and looked a very professional guardsman, you know.
And he had a big heart.
And and he was obviously progressing within the regiment because he was transferred from 3 Company and he went into the motor platoon, so he went specialised. So he started specialising in things, which was a good thing. But each and every day, we all, you know, send our blessings to him and hope they rest in peace.
And God bless you for your passion for justice and for truth, and your passion for your regiment. You know, I'm feeling it myself now, just talking about it. You know, it's really come through. You know, that sheer passion for it. And when we lose friends, I've lost friends in war. You just want truth and justice.
That's right.
And unfortunately, that doesn't. It's not always easy to get because the authorities have their own agenda and their own backs to protect. And I've got a situation myself, and very different to yours, but I understand that, and I could really feel that passion for truth and for your father as well.
It's going to be a long process, but we're adamant we're going to get there.
The truth always comes out in the end.
It will.
And it can be tiring, but you just have to keep marching forward, and the truth will prevail. It always does. And thank you for that. That was great. I mean, thank you.
Thank you very much for speaking to us. I appreciate it.
We must go now.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All the very best.
I will. Thank you.